Okay, good morning, and thank you for joining us for the 8th week of the 2025 Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference weekly football coaches video conference presented by Wells Fargo. I'm Lynn Thompson. I happen to be the strategic advisor for the MEAC, and I'll serve as the host of today's question and answer session. As always, before we begin, I'd like to go over today's procedures. The conference will begin by asking each head coach questions about the previous matchups and the upcoming games before opening the call to questions from the media. For this week's session, media reps will be limited to one question per coach with additional opportunities provided as time permits. To ask a question, simply click the raised hand feature, remain muted until you're introduced, and we'll go from there. Got it? Great. So let's get started. You know, since week 0, when North Carolina Central kicked off the season, the MEAC has lined up each week against some of the best teams in America in a challenging non-conference slate. But that was then. And here we are now as we look forward to what's ahead, the MEAC regular season. And so it begins, the 5-week championship chase to the top of the MEAC mountain and a berth in the Cricket Celebration Bowl. Now, this past week, 5 of the 6 league's teams were idle, getting ready for the gauntlet. This morning, our coaches will weigh in on their team's performances thus far and their plans to stake a claim for the title as they do it game by game, week by week. And we'll kick things first off this morning by going over to Howard University to visit with the head coach of the Bison, Coach Larry Scott. I see you there, Coach Scott. How are you today?
Good morning, Lynn. How we doing? I'm doing all right.
Good. Coach, you know, the Bison were the only team in action this past week on the road at Tennessee State. But the Tigers scored 3 TDs off of 2 Bison turnovers and a miscue to win 24-7. Give us your spin on things in Nashville.
That's what it was. We can't go on the road in a homecoming environment like that and turn the football over. We talked about the importance of that, and they capitalized on both those turnovers. Other than that, we kind of tossed it up, served it up to them, gave it to them, and they capitalized on it. And that was the difference in swinging the game. And then we couldn't really get anything else going offensively, after that with in that game. And so it kind of just spiraled after the 2 turnovers and kind of been a tale of the beginning part of the season. When we play clean and take care of the football, we've given ourselves a chance. When we do things like that on the road at a homecoming game in an environment like that, you surely don't do anything to help yourself. So that was the result that we got. And we quickly had to move on, get back here about 3, 4 a.m. Sunday morning. But, we got a unique challenge in front of us, opportunity in front of us as we're getting into the conference schedule. And we gotta find who we are and find it quickly. We got 5 days to get ready to go for this thing. And we're excited about it, though.
Coach, the Bison have lost 3 in a row, but that doesn't matter now, as you mentioned, because you get a chance to redeem yourselves at home. Do you draw a line in the schedule and says now what matters now is this week and the remaining 4 after that?
Yeah, you have to do that each week, right? As you progress through the season, nothing you can do about the past game, but get better from it, learn from it, and move on. But now, clearly you draw a line in the sand and say, hey, at the end of the day, everything that we kind of play for, to be in the postseason, to have an opportunity to be involved in football around Christmas time, starts now. And so you can take everything that we've gone through, and we've kind of been a tale of 2 teams from the beginning of the season to right there in the middle of the season and had our stumbles right there. And we're excited. It's the first time we play a game in D.C. and Green Stadium. We haven't been able to do that. We've been Miami, New York City, Connecticut, Nashville. We've been all over the place and packing up and running all over the country. Seems like the place. So our guys will have a different energy and about playing home and about it being a conference opener and all of those things. So, man, we're excited to have an opportunity to do that. We got to kind of heal up and kind of rest up. That was a long trip for us, and rest up real quick, too, because we got 5 days to make sure we're ready to go for a team that's been, sitting at home for 2 weeks getting ready for us. So we'll be dialed in and do what we need to do to be excited and ready to go play this game Saturday.
All right, Coach, those were the warm-up questions. Now let's turn our attention to the questions as we open them up from the media. As a reminder, media, please use the raise hand feature and remain muted until you're introduced. Also, please limit it to 1 question each for Coach Scott this morning. Our first question comes from Wayne Cartwright. Good morning to you, Wayne.
Good morning to you, Lynn. Good morning to you, Coach Scott.
Good morning, Wayne. How you doing, man?
Doing very well. So I've watched all 7 of your games, and I know all that you guys have done. You guys have played really good defense for the most part. You guys have run the ball well when you've won. You've had few issues with passing. But with everything that you've had from the first 7 games with your performances, what do you take now from those 7 performances that you think will serve you well for this one particular game on Saturday? Because Saturday is all that matters.
Right, man, that's it. You say it's a conference race, you say it's 5 games, but really it's a one-day. It's a process within the process now for us, right? It's a one-day approach, the 1-week approach and 1-game approach. So every day is just got to win the day. That's where it starts. And for us we got to really get back to playing to our identity as an offensive football team and as a football team in its totality. Because now, as you know, when you play championship football, you know your special teams better be humming and playing and doing some really good things too. Defensively, you got to be able to do the things you want to do from an identity standpoint. And offensively, you got to score points. You got to be able to put more points on the board than we have, and particularly in the second half, and do those things. So really, it's about putting it all together and finishing, and understanding that the process-driven approach is one that is very meticulous. And it comes with details and small things. And so in order to put it that way and surface it and handle it that way and process through it the right way, you got to have a one-day mindset, one-day approach towards what we got to do to prepare well and to prepare the way that to the level that we need to understand that it's a one-game season now. And each week each week's going to take a life of itself. And how we approach that is going to dictate how we play when we get to Saturdays when it means most. So again, it's just slowing things back, drawing it back to the drawing board, back to the small things, back to the details about how we do everything and run the program from top to bottom, and just staying in the moment, staying in this 1-week moment, 1-day type process approach towards being ready to go on Saturday. So it is going to be intense, but it's going to be handled on a day-by-day, win-the-day type process and mindset.
Well, Coach, you guys have absolutely been the road warriors, and good on you that you get to be back home in Green Stadium. You guys deserve it. Good luck to you on Saturday.
Appreciate that, Wayne. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Wayne. On to you now, James Hill.
Coach, I hope you and everybody in Washington are well this morning. Can you talk about the MEAC as we get into a league play, if you will, clean slate, everyone's 0-0, and the approach as you go in there and what it will take to get to Atlanta, but the 1 week at a time mentality?
Yeah, I think everybody, the sentiment amongst all these coaches on here today is going to be what it is, right? It's a playoff, one and done, win or go home type of mindset and mentality. We'll all echo the same things. You'll hear a lot of similarities in the line of, coach jargon that's going to be said and spit out to their teams and all that kind of stuff. But really, at the end of the day, it's going to be, the team that can get 18 to 22 year olds mindset and mentality based around the right things, center their focus, rid of distractions, lock them into what it's going to take and the mental approach that it takes to play this type of football during this time period, and what that means and the level of detail and accountability and focus that has to go into that. So I think it's very much the same for all 5 of us that are going to get ready to go into this. We all know what's at stake. We all know what it means. However, who's going to get their 18 to 22-year-olds to know what that's about, how to handle that, how to process within the process of that, and align themselves to be ready to go. It's going to be all of our challenge. And everybody has their unique challenges that are unique to them and their program and their team. For us, it's going to be a day-by-day, minute-by-minute type of mindset and mentality and process. We're going to meticulously, go through our days and do the things that we have to in every aspect of the program to win the day, to put ourselves in the best position to win the game. But at the end of the day, that ball's going to get kicked off, and there's going to be a winner and a loser on that scoreboard. And you better damn sure make sure you're doing everything during the week to have the right mindset and mentality that it's going to take to make sure you tilt the odds on your favor that you'll be on the other end of the thing, the winning side of that.
Thank you, Coach. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that, James. On now to Dwayne Nash.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Dwayne, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. You kind of touched on it a little bit earlier when you talked about how you couldn't get anything going offensively. Unfortunately, your offense has been held scoreless in the second half for your last 3 games. Can you talk about how frustrating that's been for you guys, and what is the message that you've relayed to your team as Morgan State prepares to come to Georgia Avenue this weekend?
Yeah, very frustrating. And I think it comes down to finishing execution, understanding that, there can be no letdown. There could be no, lack of focus or lack of, attention to detail and accountability that comes within that, and understanding that you got strain and finish and play with a 60-minute and beyond focus if need be. There's no other, answer for that other than, not executing the way that we need to the level in which we need to. We haven't been out adjusted or running plays in the bad schemes or doing any of those things. We just haven't executed cleanly throughout the game with a level of consistency that it takes to do that throughout the game, which is score all the time, not just in the second half. And that's something that's glaring right now that we haven't done well, and it speaks to that type of 60-minute and beyond type of focus and attention to detail that we need to have to finish games. And that's something that's being addressed, something that we've definitely talked about on Sunday right away, and things that we're going to address in the rooms as we put together what it is that we're going to do. But again, it comes down to 18 to 22-year-olds being motivated, being focused, being non-distracted, and to understand what type of intensity and what type of effort and strain that you have to have in order to do that and be successful at doing that consistently enough to win. So that's going to be our challenge, and definitely one that we welcome and one that we have addressed, and one that we know that we got to handle and deal with in order to be where we want to be at the end of this thing. But again, it's a process within the process, one day at a time.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck this week.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for that, Dwayne. Our final question for you this morning, Coach, comes from Daryl Duvall.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing this morning?
Good.
Hey, this is Daryl Duvall from Pound U Sports. I just want to you just talked about you getting ready for conference play, and what are some of the bright spots you have coming into this conference play games?
You say some of the bright spots?
What are some of your bright spots you have from some of from the previous games to going into conference play that you feel?
And obviously, there's a certain amount of keys there, right, to play championship style football, right? You got to be really good in the kicking game. That's something that's been getting better for us each and every week. We think we're starting to turn the corner there and play really solid, even though we gave up a block this week on an MA. It was a pure blown assignment in protection that we're able to clean up. I think our defense has been pretty solid all year, except for a few times and a few things there and there in the spot. So putting that all together and playing good defense obviously is the key to winning championship football down the stretch. If people can't win, if they can't score. So at the end of the day, I think our defense has been a really bright spot that we'll continue to lean in and lean on. And I think there's been at times where we've been able to run the football really well. And as you know, and as we all know, when you go down the stretch, if you're a football team that can establish that and you can do that, play great defense and run the football and be really good in the kicking game, you're going to give yourself a chance. So there's enough there for us to continue to polish and detail up and work out to give ourselves a chance when you can do those three things. What we really got to do is just continue to figure out ways to, when we need to throw it and have to throw it, to do that a little bit better. But if you can run the football, play good defense, and be pretty good in the kicking game, you're going to give yourself a hell of an opportunity.
Well, good luck this week. Good luck. Conference play is here. It's here. So,
amen.
All right. Thank you for that, Daryl. And Coach, thank you for your time this morning. That concludes all of our media questions. Coach, welcome home. You've been on the road so long, and I wish you well this week as you open up the season against a local rival. It's going to be Howard versus Morgan State, Saturday, October 25th at Green Stadium. That's in DC, y'all. It's a 3:30 p.m. kickoff. You can catch it on ESPN+. Let's roll on down to Durham, North Carolina right now and speak with the head football coach of the North Carolina Central Eagles, Coach Trey Oliver. Good morning to you, Coach. You look rested.
Good morning, Lynn. I am. Thank you. I am.
Coach, last time we talked, the Eagles were red hot. They were humming on all cylinders with a 4-game winning streak, averaging over 45 points a game. And then you take a week off. When things are going so well, do you like that? And how were you able to take full advantage of the time off to prepare not only for Delaware State, but for homecoming?
Yeah, Lynn, I hope we haven't cooled off too much, man. But this week off was very productive. We had an opportunity, like I said before, to catch up with a lot of recruiting. We had a big official visit weekend and got a lot of commitments there. So we were excited about that. And then also our community service engagement. We did over 200 hours of community service with the Emily K Center here in Durham. So really proud to see our guys get out in the community and be able to give back.
Oh, that's great, Coach. Now you got to look ahead to the matchup this week against a very much improved Delaware State Hornet team. It's going to take a great effort, but you've been a beneficiary of some great efforts so far, particularly from your quarterback and your offensive line, who's played consistently well all season. Let's talk about them and any other areas of your program that have really been performing at a high level.
Yeah, I've been pleased with our offensive line and our offensive play overall. I think those guys have done a really good job of being efficient with the football, taking care of it, and obviously scoring. And that takes a lot of pressure off you as a team when you can score points. But defensively, we've played, and a lot of guys defensively, I think we've kind of gotten a little bit better with our chemistry and our communication. And I thought we played really well defensively the last 3 weeks, and we've been solid overall all year in our kicking game. So I've seen improvement over the last 3 to 4 weeks, and we're trending in the right direction. And it's that time, it's conference play. So we're excited about it, and I believe that we're ready.
Good, Coach. Hang on just for a second. We got additional questions lined up from the media. Hey, media reps, you know the drill. Use the raise hand feature. Remain muted until you're introduced and limit your questions to one each for Coach Oliver this morning. And our first question comes from Darryl Duvall. Darryl, can you hear us? Okay, we'll come back to Darryl. Dwayne Nash, you're on.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
I'm well, Dwayne. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. Now, Coach, I hope what I'm about to ask doesn't sound too silly. And I know a lot of times I've asked silly things to you. You've outscored your opponents 206 to 88 in your last 4 games. Is there ever such a thing as things coming too easily offensively?
No, never. Never. I think coach is coming with a great game plan, and folks just not laying down and letting us score. So I think our guys are doing a great job of executing, knowing their assignment, and on the perimeter making plays. But our guys' strength, for every point we're getting, we're fighting like tooth and nail for it. So I don't think anything comes easy. I think sometimes we can make it look easy, but I think it's part of his game plan. And the second thing is our guys going out there and executing.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Good luck this week at homecoming.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Coach. The next question comes from Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Oliver, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Wayne. How you doing, man?
Doing very well. So I said last week that I would ask you about this particular game this week. So now we're this week against Delaware State. So keeping up with the culture over scheme moniker that you have made famous. This team that's coming in, they know that everyone knows they're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball. With that being said, what's the mindset of your defense heading into this week, and what was the preparation over that bye week in addition to an offense that averaged 317 yards rushing?
That's a big number, man. 317 yards. I think it might be 327 though, but
sorry, 327. You're right.
Yeah, I've done my homework. We've researched it. I've seen every yard of it. But our guys defensively know we have a huge task at hand. They're big and physical up front, and they have 2 really good running backs, and not to mention their quarterback, the Bennett kid. But Gillis kid and Jones, these guys are big, physical, and have great speed. They have great patience, great vision, great balance. They're the total package, and we're gonna have our hands full trying to slow these guys down. But our defense is up for the challenge. Our defensive line is up for the challenge. They know what's at stake, they know what's going on, and they're gonna be tested. And for us to be able to win this football game, obviously, like you said, everybody knows they're gonna come in here and try to run the football. But our D line is ready for the challenge, and we're still working on the game plan with it. But they're efficient, and this is probably the most efficient running team I've seen in my coaching career. They're averaging over 7 yards a carry. That's like almost a first down every time they run the ball. So I haven't seen anything like it, but we're gonna be tested this week.
Well, Coach, everybody's looking forward to this one, and I know you are and your players are too. So good luck this week there as you take on this Delaware State team.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, Coach. The next question comes from Doc Holliday. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Coach Oliver. How you doing today?
I'm well, Doc. How you doing?
Week. Hope you enjoyed your bye week. You got homecoming coming up. Just to get piggyback what Wayne was talking about as far as with the rushing goes, like you're dealing with a three-headed monster with Bennett, Jones, and Gillis. What are you telling actually your offense? Because your offense could be quick strike at times to try to sustain drives to keep the opponent's offense off the field.
Well, we're not going to do that. Sometimes people do try to take the air out of the ball and slow stuff down to keep the opponent on the sideline. We're going to play football and score points. So, if you score points and if you can get up on a team that likes to run the ball, hopefully you can, put some pressure on them and make them do something they don't want to do. But, we know what's going on. We got to come out here and play a physical brand of football, which we traditionally do. And we can't let them folks knock us off the ball. They've been mistreating people in them trenches the early part of the season. So we got to come to play and play very physical, knock folks back, and get us to the football. Simple as that, and we must tackle well. But we're excited for the challenge. Looking forward to it.
Host, do I have a chance for another question, or can I swing back around?
We'll swing back around if we got time. Okay, Doc?
Cool.
All right, on to you now, James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone on campus are well. Can you talk about your offensive side of the ball as you look forward to this homecoming game against Dale State, Harris and Rogers, and the way you guys want to play the game?
Yes, the guys have really played well, complimenting on that side of the ball. You don't know who's going to step up week by week. It's all about guys trying to play as hard as they can. And then, we say the ball finds energy. But, every week it's a different receiver that's had a huge breakout game, from Chauncey Spikes to Mekhi Wall to Chance Peterson to Nassim Crosby. It's been a bunch of guys that have really stepped up. So it's kind of like pick your poison. Walker does a great job of not forcing the ball and has been letting the game come to him. And I think that's why we've been so efficient. When you're disciplined in your reads, you're disciplined with your assignments, and guys are playing hard even when they're not getting the ball, good things happen. And I think that's why we've had a chance to be so efficient and score points offensively.
Good luck this week, Coach.
Yeah, thanks, James.
Okay, Coach, the next question comes from Ray Rogers from the Urban Sports Team.
Hey, good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Hey, so quick question, because Lynn, you set the stage. Good morning to you too. You said it's a much improved Delaware State team coming in, and I feel like Delaware State has been a big story for the MEAC prior to the season starting, and now because of the way they played. So, Coach, my question to you is, do you feel like that gives your team sort of an edge or motivation for homecoming, because you want to remind people that you've been one of the top teams in the conference for the last several years?
Yeah, we've been one of the top teams in the conference, no doubt. But I like challenges. I like competition. And I've seen some of these people who they playing for homecoming. We're not going to call any names, but they playing some folks I ain't never heard of, but we'll leave that alone. We like competition. I like the fact that we got a good brand of football, and Delaware State has improved. That makes the whole conference better. So we're looking forward to it. And they've improved, like you said, in all three phases: offense, defense, even their special teams is playing well. And I think that they're a very, very good coach football team. He's done a great job putting the staff together, and I've been impressed with them.
All right, well, good luck, Coach. We expecting a shootout.
A shootout? We play a little defense here too in Durham, man. Don't do us like that. It won't be a shootout.
All right, thanks for that. Thanks, Ray. On to you, Brandon King.
Good morning, Mr. Lynn. Good morning, Coach Alvin. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Brandon King with Inside HBCU Sports Lab and SneakerShopTalk.com. Wanted to ask you about one of your players, Mr. Cosby. You mentioned him earlier. Came across a fascinating highlight regarding him, some of the perseverance and that he's dealt with, fighting through injuries and just things of that nature. Can you just talk about the perseverance and the tenacity that he's shown on and off the field, and how that impacts not your team, but your program as a whole?
Man, I think that shows a lot of the program and who we are. It's about developmenting guys. And, he was a walk-on, like so many other guys we have on our team. Max Urin was a walk-on. There's a lot of guys that came in here, weren't getting any money. They want an opportunity to play. Thomas Carroll, our strength coach, came in, developed these young men. And now, they're playing well, not just getting playing time and starting, but top of the conference in certain areas. But, he's a guy, he's a warrior. He comes to practice every day, works hard, doesn't say a whole lot, but brings great energy. And we talk about your attitude and energy can be contagious. And he's one that brings people with him, and he comes out, blue collar mentality and comes work every day. Joy to be around. So, obviously it was a pleasure of mine to be able to go in, put him on scholarship because, obviously he was very deserving of it.
Thanks, Coach, for the insight and good luck this week.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Coach, Steve Gaither has a question for you. Good morning, Steve.
Not every morning, Lynn. Come on, Steve. It's 2025, Steve.
Okay, I see he has his hand raised. Maybe he can't get
You
to
still
us.
trying to get over homecoming, Lynn?
He must be. Okay, let me circle back to Darryl Duvall. You had your hand raised. Did we called on you earlier. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had stepped away for a second. Apologize. The other guy probably did the same thing. So, hey, Coach, conference play is here, and so what is your message that you've been for the whole week that you have going to this game, Delaware State, for the team?
Let's play better this week than we did last week. Nothing changes. Obviously we want to come on to be, fast and physical football team. But it's another game. It's the next game on the schedule. And obviously, it's homecoming. But like everybody says all week, that's not for us. That's whatever. But we about to come out and play some football this weekend. That's what we're looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to this game, too. I think all of us are. Good luck. Good luck.
Should be a good one.
All right. Thanks so much, Darryl. I'm going to circle back to you, Doc Holliday. A quick question for you.
Yes. Coach Oliver, how do you get your team focused since I know we talked about this last week with homecoming and all the festivities that's going on this week that leads up on Saturday? But how do you get your team to stay focused and not be worried about the distractions that's on the yard right now?
I think we play well at homecoming here traditionally. But, the deal is like 24 and 23 season. You have good football teams and lose one game. And we're at the house watching on TV. So, it's easy to keep them focused. They understand what the task at hand. We're a conference play. And obviously Delaware State is one of the hottest teams in the conference right now. And these guys are playing with a whole lot of confidence. And that's one thing. Confident teams are very, very dangerous. They play at a very high level, and they're going to come in here, trying to knock us off and, spoil our homecoming. But we gotta play well and play our brand of football, and I think we'll be fine.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Our final question for you this morning comes from Dr. Kenyatta Cavill. Good morning to you, Doc.
Good morning to you. Good morning, Coach Oliver, as well.
Good morning.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach, you don't have to get all serious when you get to me asking a question. I know you're ready to go and
Don't
get
do that.
set up.
I got through Stephen Gaither. His I guess his dial-up won't working this morning. So,
Well, as you said, they just figured out homecoming, so he looks excited that they did well at the Rams down there. So you know how that goes.
Right.
With that being said, I wanted to ask you in terms of the long non-conference schedule. How do you break that up over your experience now that you've done this several iterations? Are there any different preparations that you change, or is this just fundamentally what you've always held true in terms of a football game, preparing for it, and doing all the X's and O's and doing what you regularly do to get ready for a football game, regardless of who's the opponent, conference or non-conference?
Yeah, it's been rough. It's been a long, rough non-conference schedule. From a traveling perspective to the teams that we played, we've been tested, and that's a good thing. Obviously it's gonna make you ready for conference play. But it's been a long, I guess 6 games now, 7 games, whatever it is. But I do think that we're battle tested. We've seen a lot of different, brands of football, a lot of different schemes on both sides. And I think I know our guys are ready for conference play. And it's just going to be, limiting our mistakes. And, we got to play physical football and be intentional with everything we do. But the guys are excited. We got 1 or 2 guys back healthy. We got a bunch of guys banged up. We got 1 or 2 guys back. And they're in a good place. They're excited to put on the show this weekend.
Thank you, Coach. Lynn, did you see the message that Stephen Gaither was able to put in there?
No, I did not. Let me double check it.
I'll read it. I'll read it.
You don't have to.
How do you keep your team from being overconfident? You rolled up with backups and smacked them last year. Is that where culture over scheme comes in? This is from Steve Gaither, HBCU Gameday.
We definitely, like I told y'all last week, we haven't done anything. We're 0-0 in conference play. Everybody's, on the same level. We're not overconfident. Our guys are humble and hungry, and we're locked in. And I guess that is a part of our, culture over scheme. But this ain't the same Delaware State team that we played last year. They are a much improved team across the board, like I said, and well coached. I mean, these guys do a really good job of attacking you defensively. They got a plan. Coach Washington understands how to get numbers and gain leverage on the edge. So they know what they're doing, and they got a great coaching staff, like I said. But we got to come up with a great game plan here, and I guarantee you that we will not be overlooking Delaware State.
I agree. Thank you, Coach, and get you out of here and pass it back to you, Lynn. Steve Gaither did want you to know that, and yes, he had a ball in Winston.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Doc and Steve and the rest of you. Coach, that's it for us today. We give you some time back this morning. And as you all know, North Carolina Central, after a week off, is back in action this week. They're going to enjoy homecoming festivities, but then they got a big ball game hosting Delaware State Saturday, October 25th in Durham, North Carolina, 1 p.m. kickoff on ESPN+. Well, what's all this buzz about Delaware State? Let's go on down to Dover now and talk with Deshaun Jackson, the head football coach of the Hornets. Good morning to you, Coach Jackson.
Hey, good morning, man. How you doing?
Man, you hear all this talk. You feel the buzz. You finished the non-conference portion of the year at 4-3. In fact, you won more games this year than the last two seasons combined already. And your Hornets had a week off to get ready to travel to North Carolina Central. How is the team physically and, more importantly, mentally after this non-conference portion of the season?
Yeah, well, first off, to talk about the buzz, I mean, we try not to get too caught up in the buzz, right? We got our head down, chin mentality, and that's kind of been our motto throughout the season. We understand, right? It's going to be obstacles in front of us that we face every week, right? It's going to be challenges, different challenges when you play different teams. So, our mentality and our mindset has just been just to fall in love with the grind, fall in love with our work. And, we got our hard hats on and our boots on, and we go out there and we prepare and we prepare for every opponent the same way. As far as this past week, man, it was a great week. We had some injuries. We had some guys banged up that, our bye week couldn't come no better place, right? Before conference play. We understand the challenge we have this week, North Carolina Central team, and I feel like is well coached and, do a great job in all three phases of the football game. So, we'll detail our work and we'll be excited to go down there and, our plan is to try to spoil their homecoming, man. That's what we want to do. But, we know on all sides it's going to be a tough physical battle. They do a great job in everything they do, but, we're always going to be focused on our hand at task.
Okay. Well, Coach, the word is out. I mean, check this out. A wide receiver head coach has a tremendous running attack.
Yep.
I mean, that's the word. That's the word. Over the break, did you fine-tune the passing game to add that to your arsenal or to enhance that, or simply work on the fundamentals to get the whole team better?
Yeah, I mean, our fundamentals, all three phases, is what we always preach here. So, when we do things good, we got to do them better, right? When we do things great, we got to do them greater. And the things we struggle at, we always got to improve at that as well, too. So, I know the stigma of me being a wide receiver and we have such a great rushing game, but, in my recruiting phase and, when our coaching staff came together, I mean, whatever it is for us to win football games, that's what we're going to do well. So I know people are like, man, how's a wide receiver not passing the ball and throwing the ball 80% of the time or 70% of the time? That's not our motto, man. We want to win football games. So whatever it takes to win football games, we're going to do it to our best of our ability. So this past week, our off week, we was able to get some, a few practices in. We gave the players off some time to come back, and then we practiced yesterday, had our bonus day yesterday, and then today's off day, and we'll get back into, Tuesday practicing. But, I mean, overall, it was a well-needed, much rested, and, hopefully we get some guys back in injury as well, too. But, I'm happy with the guys, man. They're dialed in and they understand, what's at stake, and they all remember where people projected us. So that's what right now I have that on my edge, man, because I got some hungry guys in there, man. They just don't forget what people said about us.
Okay, Coach. Hold on just for a few because we got Several questions lined up from the media. Hey, media reps, as a reminder, put the raise hand feature up, remain muted until you're introduced. And additionally, after your question, drop the hand down for us, would you? Please limit your questions to just one for Coach Jackson. First question comes from you, Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Jackson, good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm blessing yourself. How you doing, Wayne?
Doing well. First off, let me apologize because I was one of those guys that said that you guys might not succeed this year. But I sing your praises every single week on my podcast. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah. But what I want to say today and what I want to ask you today is, listen, even though we're media people, listen, I understand this is a one-game season. It's a series of one-game seasons. So with this one-game season game this week against North Carolina Central, they know you're going to run the ball. They know you like to run the ball. And of course, you know, you're not going to tell us your game plan, and I'm not asking you the game plan. But with the focus of this one game season, where has the focus truly been this week with your guys schematically about what it's going to take to get this thing done Saturday?
It's another opportunity at hand, man. We look at every opportunity the same. You know, I always talk about the preparation and the detail before, you know, we go to battle. And that's in life, you can't skip that. You can't skip the process. You know, if you want the results, right, you got to pour into, you know, the grind of it. And, you know, I've been blessed to be in a position where I've been around some great coaches, right? I've been coached by some Hall of Fame coaches. I feel like, you know, with Andy Reid, you know, Sean McVay, you know, the list goes on and on. I always talk about it and always give credit to the guys that, you know, poured into me and helped me be successful in my career. So, I mean, the pedigree is the pedigree, right? Regardless, win, lose, or draw, you have to put down, you know, your head, and you just got to work. You can't get caught up in what people say, what people think. You know, Wayne, I appreciate you for being honest. You know, you were one of those people that, you know, doubted us and probably didn't give us our flowers in our first year. But, you know, my pedigree and who I am as a person, as an individual, as a competitor, man, is fierceful. You know, I say that word to my players and they say, Coach, that's not a word. Well, in my book, in my dictionary, fierceful is a word. And we just, you know, we're everything we do, that's our mentality. And we're not perfect as well. You know, we have mistakes. We have things we can always correct and get better at. But, you know, just the expectation. We go back to talk about the expectation. Our coaching staff, we put out, and it's very blatant to how we want it, right? Where we don't sugarcoat it. We don't dumb it down. And for us to have the success, that's what we have to do, right? We have to have every man to a man be held to that standard. And regardless how you feeling, what's not feeling good, what's hurting, you know, how comfort you are, you know, like I say, uncomfortability is where we want to be, right? Because anybody can be great when you're comfortable. What are you going to do when you're not uncomfortable?
Well, Coach, appreciate everything. As always, talking to you every week. Good luck to you this week. Big game. Everybody's excited.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Welcome to the MEAC Football Video Conference by Wells Fargo. Kevin Truzzolini, you're on.
Thanks. Hey, Deshaun, what are some of the things that you and your staff identified as areas you really need to improve and you worked on significantly going into your conference opener this week?
Man, first and foremost, the run game. We feel like we leaving stuff on the table. I'm gonna be honest, man. Our offensive line coach Eugene Chung, our running back coach Clinton Portis, our offensive coordinator Nemo Washington. I mean, we look at some of these films and, you know, we're getting big runs and marquees. You know, James Jones, Kobe Boykin, Jaden Jenkins, you know, Deuce Weston. I mean, these guys are making heck of runs, but it's still on a few plays they're missing reads. And, you know, we could have last week we ran for, or the week before we ran for 600 and something yards. We could have ran for 800 yards. And I'm being humble saying this, but I'm just saying, as far as a coaching staff, when you look and you break down film, I'm sure every coach could sit here and tell you what the success you have is still things you could do better at, right? So the thing we do the best is where we feel like we need to improve. We need to clean up in the run game as well. We need to clean up in the pass game. We need to, you know, swarm better on defense. We need to swarm to the ball. We need to create turnovers. We got to play complementary football, right? All three phases playing in one sequence, right? And, you know, when we go out there, if we can do that, like I've been saying from the get-go, we're going to be a dangerous team, and hopefully it's showing.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, next question comes from James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on campus are well. How's it going?
I'm good. Yourself, James? We're good. You all right?
Yeah, I'm blessed. Talk a little bit about you're here. Now it's all about the MEAC, but when we look at your resume, we know what you're about: the Super Bowls, the Pac-10, the the whole nine. Everything you set out to do, you've been able to achieve that, the Pro Bowl.
Yes, sir.
But talk about being a leader of men, and now you go into another hostile environment at Central, and it's that one game, that one opportunity is kind of like a Super Bowl. But just talk about that opportunity coming up.
Man, yeah, we're excited first and foremost. We're acceptance of the moment. We understand the hostile environment we have to go into going down to Durham, North Carolina. It's going to be a pretty nifty bus ride. You know, we got to get ready to sit on the bus for 5 to 6 hours, and you know, I'm not looking forward to that as well. But you know, the opportunity presents itself. Like I said, this is their homecoming week. You know, as me being a first time experienced guy to experience homecoming here at the HBCU, I'm sure you know, Coach Oliver understands a lot of distractions, and I'm sure he's telling his players the same thing, right? We have to focus on the main thing at task, and you know, that's to go 1-0 every week, right? The same message is being delivered from each and every one of these coaches on this call today. So for me, the opportunity, I love it. You know, I'm excited. I can't wait to see how MEAC conference play is going to go down. You know, we're arriving for it, and you know, we want to be feet on land. Everything we do, we're feet on land. We're feet where we're at present at any given time. And you know, we know it's going to be a tough battle, but you know, we're excited for it and we're ready for the challenge at hand. So I mean, that's the moral of the story here. You know, it's going to be tough play throughout the MEAC conference. We don't care what guys' records are. Everybody is 0-0, right? We all have a chance to go win a championship, which is going down to Atlanta and playing in that Celebration Bowl. So everybody's encouraging, everybody's saying the same message. We're just excited for the opportunities.
Thank you, Coach. Much success and good luck as you build this program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, up next for you, Coach, is a question from Doc Holliday.
Coach Jackson, how you doing this morning?
Hey, Doc, I'm good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good. You say going into this is your first round in the MEAC.
Yeah.
You say you need to clean up some things, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
What is the things you want to try to get improve on the defensive side to get ready for this pretty much this prolific offense in North Carolina Central?
Well, yeah, well, I mean, you know, every time you get an opportunity to play a football game, you know, you dial into what is it going to take to win a football game, right? It's hard enough to win games in general. So, you know, everything almost has to go perfect for you to win a football game. And if it doesn't go perfect, I mean, as long as you do what you need to do, you have a chance to win a football game. I think, you know, when you shoot yourself in the foot and, you know, you have, you know, penalties and, you know, misconducts and unsportsmanlike, you know, all those type of things is things that you have to, you know, get out of your play, right, when you're playing. So, you know, we've stressed that all year. You know, I think, you know, in the beginning of the year, we dealt with it a little more and we've cleaned it up a lot in the past. This team does some great things, right? Since day one, when they played their first game, you know, I have my eye on them guys, and they do some great things in the run game. They have a great running back. Their quarterback's, you know, a great passer. He does some things on the ground as well too. You know, we just know it's going to be a challenge. You know, they have a good physical defense as well too. They got some some defensive linemen. You know, they have a defensive end from California that I know as well too. He played for Coach Clark in high school. So we've been hearing the noise, and you know, they definitely have been a team that's been proven in the MEAC conference. They've won and they're proven. So, you know, it's another opportunity at hand for us to go up versus a team that's been the guys, been one of the top big dogs in this conference, and we have our first opportunity to go down on their homecoming, on their home field where they're comfortable, and you know, hopefully do something that hasn't been done in a long time. And you know, we're up for the occasion.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Doc. Dr. Kenyatta Cavill, you're on.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill, inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I wanted to piggyback on Doc Holliday's comment in terms of your defense, but I wanted to specifically look at a player. Obviously, you've had a lot of success offensively running the ball, so you know what it looks like in terms of a running back that is very solid in what they're doing. So I wanted to feature Chris Mosley in terms of a Big Ben candidate. In terms of what he's doing, HBCU football running back.
Mm-hmm.
He's been solid this season, as you are well aware of, 738 total yards, 127 carries, getting in the end zone 6 times. What are your thoughts in terms of your defense of what you want them to see? Obviously, holistically, you want to stop certain things based on what you've seen on film, but targeting him, what do you need to do to slow him down from your perspective?
Man, it couldn't get no better than going against, our running backs in practice. I think,
Yep.
we have to face Gillis, James Jones, and those other backs that we go against every week. It's challenging for our defense because, we've gave up some yards on the ground. The passing game as well too, right? Overall, it is what it is. I feel like, our defense has done pretty good this year, but if anything, we could have got a lot better and, putting pressure on the quarterback, right, and holding up some run fits. And it's just really swarming to the football. But overall, I mean, as a whole, I mean, we've won 4 games this year. So without being able to win those games, it would have been tough to have won those games without our defensive play, if you get what I'm saying. So,
yes,
he does once again. I think him and Gillis.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Him and Gillis go back and forth week in week to see
right.
who's leading rusher in the MEAC, right? And I always give Gillis a hard time. We got somebody. Yeah, I always give Gillis a hard time because some weeks I look up and he got him. I say, hey man, that dude over in North Carolina Central got you, Gil. He like, well, he get the ball more, and I only got this many carries, and we got 3 to 4 different running backs. So I just say, man, hey, you can't make excuses, man. When you the big dog, you the big dog, regardless how many carries or what you're doing. You got to make the most out of him. So what he does well, right? He's a downhill runner. He can catch out the backfield. He makes people miss. He's physical. And I just think our defense, we just got to get to him, man, and we got to swarm at him. We got to have 2 or 3 guys tackling him every time, he gets his hands on the ball. And, we just got to fit up in the run game. Our defensive line has to put pressure on the quarterback, make him uncomfortable. And just, we're going in there to rattle him, right? The quarterback, you can't play, comfortable ball when you're getting rattled. So we just got to get it. We got to get him off. We got to get him moving. We got to get him to make some bad decisions and put the ball in the air. And hopefully we come down with it.
Appreciate that insight and sharing a little bit about how you acknowledge the player, but at the same time reinforce from your players in terms of challenging. Great insights. Keep it up, Coach Jackson. Look forward to the matchup this week.
Thank you, man.
Coach, I know you anxious to go. We just got about 4 or 5 more for you, okay? Dwayne Nash, you're on.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, good, man. How you doing, Dwayne?
I'm doing pretty good. You got the number 1 and number 2 offensive teams in the conference facing off this weekend. What are your thoughts on this potentially being a shootout? And with your issues with penalties earlier this year, how do you go, or what is your message to your team to try to temper their attitude and temper their emotions so that they don't get provoked into being penalized this upcoming weekend down in Durham?
I mean, to go off the 1 and 2 offenses in the MEAC, I can say this, man. You deserve it, right? Whenever you go out and you're able to put that together, and with the yardage, right, the scoring of points, and guys that have the statistics to help us get to that, 1 and 2 offenses. That's something you just have to embrace. You have to know it week in and week out. People are going to be targeting you to try to stop you and figure out ways to show you different looks. The biggest thing I would say, we're up for the challenge. We understand what we do well. We understand things we can improve, right? And every week we go out and we try to get better at the things we need to improve on. I mean, it's simple to us, right? Now coming into this environment, we know it can be a shootout. Do I want it to be? No. If I'm gonna be honest, I want to get more stops and I want to score more. So I think Trey Oliver would say the same thing, right? I don't think he wants it to be a shootout as well, too. Now, if we got to go down to a shootout, hey, let the best man win, and we'll do that, right? But as far as us, we're just focused on ourselves. We're focused on being the best polished team. And with the penalties, we addressed that early in the season, and it's just more being disciplined. You got to be well disciplined. You got to be well coached. At times when that split seconds comes in your mind that you do a bonehead play or to be selfish to put I in front of the team is where you have guys that you got to say, you know what, we can't afford to have that because we will pay for it. If a guy makes a decision, a mistake like that, he'll have to pay for it during the week, man. So I think our guys just don't want to have to pay for it because that is brutal what they have to go through if they're making those type of mistakes and putting I in front of the team because there is no I in team.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck this week down in Durham.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Coach Darryl Duvall has a question for you.
Good morning, Coach. First of all, I
Daryl.
want to kind of piggyback on Wayne. Now, I thought MEAC made a real good choice in bringing you in to coach to change that environment up at Delaware State. So I just wanted to throw that out there too, right there. So,
Thank you, Daryl. Yes, sir.
oh, you're welcome, man. And I also got some players in Texas I need to send up to your way, man.
They got to be ballers, man. They got to have some experience. They got to be ballers, man.
So this week, man, you got North Carolina Central. We've been talking about that on the call right now. And so, and one of the things, and I had a question already, but the main thing is the penalties. How have y'all been doing this week in working on that and the mistakes that y'all had? So, because I mean, this is a game. This is a game this week, man.
You kind of broke up a little bit when you was first asking it. Can you repeat it?
Basically working on some of the mistakes that you had talked about in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And clearing that up for this week's game. How have you been doing that in the game this week, practicing, not playing this weekend, and everything?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to not have a game for us was, like I said, it couldn't have came in a better time. After playing 7 games and now you getting a week off before you go into conference play. I think North Carolina Central had 2 bye weeks, right? So as a coach, I mean, I would like to be able to be in a position where your guys can be real rested. I know they've been coming off of, I think, a 3 or 4 game winning streak, whatever it is. But we understand what they do well. We understand they got some momentum. But I would say for a coach, if I had momentum, I wouldn't want a bye week. I would want to keep going as well, too. So I would, hope this bye week that they got, and it's their second one, I hope it slows them down a little bit. And
Right.
You hear what I'm saying when I say hope, right? Now,
Yeah.
we got to be ready to play. However, we got to win a football game. We got to be ready to play. But in our hindsight, man, we was able to take this week to get some practice, right? To work on some recruiting as well, and really just rejuvenate, man. A lot of our coaches, obviously, some of them been coaching, and then you got some that's new at this level as well too. So, I think that stretch 7 games in a row, 3 on the road, was kind of tough on some of these individuals, some of these players as well too. So for us to be able to have a reset, to go home, see your kids, see your family, and put a smile on your face and come back and say, hey, we got 5 more of these things. And it's 1-0 every week, right? You can't lose no games. If we want to go play in that Celebration Bowl, we have to go 1-0 every week. And we understand that, and we're up for it. And, we're just ready to go down the dorm this week, man, and go have a ball.
Hey, good luck. I'm going to have my popcorn and hot wings or whatever ready for that game this weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
Okay, Brandon King, you're on.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Brandon. I'm doing good. Yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good. Obviously, there's been so much, and rightfully so, made about the effectiveness of your run game. Obviously, you've got the number 1 rushing attack in both the MEAC and FCS overall by a wide margin. You've got 3 of the top backs from a statistical standpoint in the conference. So you've definitely got dudes in your running back room. But as you know, the success with that starts up front. And I wanted to ask you about some of the big guys up front that have been plowing the road, so to speak, for some of those thoroughbreds that you've got in the backfield.
Yeah. I would even like to take it a little further, man. I think, the MEAC, FCS, and FBS, man, we got 2 running backs. I don't even think the FBS team got, these 2 dudes, man, that we got at running back, man. They've been doing some lights out special things on the football field. We couldn't do it without a front line, right? We got Justice up front, our center. We got Elijah Payne, who missed the first 4 games. We got Kai Wallace. And to be honest, man, we haven't even had a full healthy line all year playing together. Like our first team offensive line has not played together all year for 1 game. And it's just, man, it's mind blowing to see some of the things they're able to do up front, man. Eugene Young, who's a offensive mind guru, man. He's done some great things in our run fit and just getting our scheme, man, getting our philosophy, getting our guys to be able to hit on the second level on some of these defenses, man. So, I just take my hat off to them. I think we're coaching our butts off. Our expectations is high for our players, and I think they're doing a great job of coming out there and just making us successful and making us right, man.
Well, thanks for that insight, Coach, and good luck this week.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
you.
Okay, let's see. We got to Dr. Cavill. You're back on. You had another question? Your hands are still up, so you just left your hand up.
Yeah, I apologize. Hands still up.
Okay. All right. Perry Daniels, good morning to you.
Good morning, Lynn. Good morning, Coach Jackson.
Hey, good morning, Perry. How you doing?
Super fantastic, Coach. I want to ask you about communication. So you are taking your team down to Durham for their homecoming, which is considered one of the best homecomings in HBCU sports. With you never having been in that environment, how do you prepare your team for that environment?
Well, I think it's a twist, it's a catch-22 to your question. You said I've never been in that environment, but I know my players have. I know some of these coaches I got on my staff's been there. And for me, man, unfamiliar territories, I feel right wherever I'm at. The way I was raised and where I came from growing up in Los Angeles, put me in any condition, anywhere in life, I feel like I'm gonna make it out. So I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about my players. And some of these coaches I got on my coaching staff has been in these environments and we know what to expect. I've played in some heck of environments. I played at Oregon before being, at University of California. I played in Seattle. I played a lot of places where the crowd and the noise always has been an advantage, for that home team. So I know what I'm capable of doing. I'm not on the field. It's not about me. It's about putting my players in the best scenario in a situation. Forget what I've been in. I know what I'm capable of doing. So my players, it's all about the players, man. It's not about the coach. We're going to do our best job of getting the game plan to them guys, and they got to go out there and execute it. So it's really not about me. It's about making sure our players are comfortable, man. And I think they'll be ready for this opportunity.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck to you this week.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, good question. Good question. Mia Berry, you're on this morning.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm good, Sylvia.
I'm good, Coach. The bye week also allows for some rest and some reflection. So year one of the DJAC era at Delaware State for you. What grade do you give yourself right now, given what you guys have already accomplished versus, the second half of the season still coming up?
That's a setup question, man. I can't give us no grade right now. We ain't did nothing yet. I mean, we won a few games, but the parade ain't happened yet. The parade, we're about a month and a half away from the parade. So until we accomplish what we want to accomplish, I can't give myself a grade right now. What I will say, I'm very impressed with the guys, how they handled this thing coming into this year. They've stood up for the challenge, and week in and week out, we go out and we continue to compete at a high level, and we look at it like this, man. Let the best man win. Whoever's going to put the preparation in into week in and week out and accomplish what they want to accomplish, then they'll go out on Saturdays or Thursdays or Fridays, whatever day that is, that we're blessed to play this game. And hopefully we can do everything we can to win it, right? So, with that being said, we got a lot of work to do. We haven't yet to scratch the surface.
Okay, Coach, on a more personal level, what about you? First year head coach. I know you've had that internal reflection. What has that been like? How are you grading yourself?
Not done yet. I can't do it. I can't get set up yet. I'm not doing the clickbaits. We're humble. We're not gonna get complacent. Maybe if you ask me in a month and a half, I got an answer for you. But right now, I got the head down, chin up mentality. We're working, and we're continuously going upright, and that's what we'll do.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you so much, Mia. Coach, before we let you go, Stephen Gaither sent this one in. Coach Jackson, you've never shied away from your team's past. Your team this team has dominated Dell State for most of your returning players' careers. Does that make it easier to get them focused for this game, in your opinion?
No, it don't. Nothing make it easier. We have our opportunity to be the 2025-2026 Delaware State Hornets team. We don't get caught up in the past. Yeah, I don't shy away from it, but I wasn't a part of the past, right? I understand that, and I take it on our chin, and our players that were a part of it understand that as well. They have an opportunity to come do something special in the Jack era, right? And that's what we all are up for. We know this team is different. We know from coaching to playing, it's a total different. It's a total different roster. It's a total different coaching staff and mentality. So no disrespect to anybody before, but we do it different here right now in this era.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. I know you got to get back to work, game planning. for the big one in in Durham, North Carolina. The Delaware State Hornets are going to hit the road to Durham, Carolina, as the Hornets versus the Eagles will kick off Saturday, October 25th, in Durham at North Carolina Central University. It's going to be a 1 p.m. kickoff on ESPN+. Our next interview is going to happen with the head football coach of the Norfolk State Spartans in Norfolk, Virginia, Michael Vick. Good morning to you, Coach Vick. Saw him in here a little while ago. Good morning. Good morning. If he doesn't respond, we'll be able to pivot and move ahead, and we'll get back to him. We'll give him just a second. Do we see him? Good morning to you, Coach Vick. I see you there. How are you?
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good, man. Good.
Good.
You had a break last week. You went into the break with a very misleading 1-6 record, but 3 of those losses were by less than a touchdown. Which leads everybody to think that it's just the little things that are really making the difference. And this past week, was that what you really had to focus on? Just those little things as the MEAC race kicks off now?
Yeah, I really think we had to just kind of refocus and just reshape how we're going to try to do things moving forward. And that's the cool part about this game. It's like, you can always find always find ways to change or implement something new. So just wanted to take a look at it now, as opposed to, some other time, probably could have made some changes sooner. But now I felt like it was the perfect time. And so now that we're going into conference play, it matters even more. And so I'm just trying to get the guys to believe that. And I think they do. And so, the week off was amazing. We needed it. We got healthier, and I feel like we rejuvenated with energy.
Okay, now you're back in action this Saturday, but it's home. The Spartans host the defending MEAC champs. The Bulldogs come calling of South Carolina State, and it's homecoming. The impact of this game is really, really huge. How have you been able to prepare the Spartans mentally for the upcoming game, homecoming, and the 5-week season that's ahead of you that could redefine your entire program?
Yeah, just letting them know that it's about what's ahead. For my first team meeting, I put up, on the board, like what was the most important, and it was bringing home a conference championship. And although we had to go through some turmoil type of times, it's been well worth it. I feel like we can pull a lot of good away from what's happened. And we just want to continue to build on that. So it's all about creating the right structure, continuing to build on that, continuing to believe. And, ultimately for us, it's about just finishing. I think when we look at what we've done, been ahead in a lot of moments and just couldn't finish the games out. So, trying to be durable, of course, that's going to take an unbelievable amount of endurance and will, but we have it in us to do it.
Okay, Coach, appreciate it so much. We're going to open up now for more questions from the media. As a reminder, media reps use the raise hand feature, and after your question is answered, put your hand down. Would you do that for me, please? And remain muted until you're introduced. Also, let's limit your questions to just one each for Coach Vick. Our first question this morning comes from James Hill. James.
Coach Vick, how are you this morning, sir?
I'm good. How you doing, James?
I'm blessed. Talk a little bit about the opportunity you have in front of you. We know that now it's a reset, 0-0, and you have an opportunity to get your team back to Atlanta, a place where fans love you. But just talk about this 1 week at a time mentality. And it starts this weekend with your home game against South Carolina State. What do you see going in now is for real?
Yeah, I see the opportunity is there for us to continue to do what the mission was from the beginning, and that was to win the MEAC championship. And I believe in momentum. We don't have that right now, but I think the reset, the bye week, and now a fresh start to go into conference play really gives us a new focus, a new belief, and I think we really believe that we have an opportunity. We got a shot to do something great. It's just about locking in on the details now and just trying to make it happen one play at a time, not try to get too far ahead of ourselves, but being excited about the opportunity. That's what's most important. That, regardless of everything that's happened, we still have a chance to right the ship. And so, that makes me feel good. That makes them feel good. I think we feel like, we got the shot. So, as long as we have that attitude, that's what's most important. That's what'll get us through.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week, man, and congratulations and continued success as a leader of men.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for that, James. On to you now, Doc Holliday.
Coach Vic, how you doing this morning?
What's up, my brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Doc Holliday, HBCU Overdrive. Coming off this bye week, be able to rest a lot of players. I know you're looking for that first Division I win for your record. What are some things you told your team about this South Carolina State team who more like is pretty much one of the stronger teams in the MEAC?
Yeah, well, just reiterating, they're a well-coached football team. They got athletes on the field everywhere. They got players. You're gonna have to work for everything. It's not gonna be easy by any stretch, and we just got to come to play. Obviously for us, I feel like just being durable, playing 4 quarters of football is gonna be really important. Finishing is what we kind of honing in on right now, because that's what we're lacking. We come out, start fast, which is what we preach. But it's not how you start; it's how you finish in anything. And so that's the primary focus: finishing strong, being competitive, being ultra competitive, and just going out and trying to move a mountain.
All right, appreciate you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Up next, Coach, is Dr. Kenyatta Cavill.
It's Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. How you doing this morning, Coach V?
How you doing, Doc?
I'm good.
Good.
I want to talk about William Price Stadium. Usually pretty hostile environment, particularly homecoming, as you probably would imagine. It really gets going there. But you've had experiences personally in terms of playing in high state hostile environments as a player, then obviously as a professional as well. What have you learned in the past that you've been able to take or will take to your team, along with your coaches that have their experiences, of how you look at preparing your team to go into an environment that is now a conference game, in terms of specifically what you want to see from your quarterback, Otto Coons, be able to display in a leadership position with the rest of the offense to get some things going in this matchup?
Yeah, no doubt, man. In terms of Otto, starting with him, I feel like, this is a very important 5 weeks for Otto. It's, he has aspirations of doing, great things for his football career, and it starts right here. It's probably the most important 5 games of his life, out of all the games that he's played. And so he has a chance to, define his story, write his own story in the next couple of weeks. And so, that's there for him, great opportunity, as well as a lot of others, especially my guys who are seniors who, have a chance to go out and, compete for a championship. And it's right there in front of them. All they got to do is live it out. And that's what we'll talk about. But it's going to be opportunities. It's going to be there, and you got to be able to take advantage of it. And if you don't, you'll look back on it and, in their own sort of way, they'll probably regret it. I know, from past experience and, playing in conference games, it's like that's when you got to be the most locked in. That's when you got to be the most dialed in, because, that's the race to get to where you want to go. So great things in front of this team, and I hope they're willing to accept the challenge.
Tony, I appreciate that, Coach Vic. Good luck this weekend. Great insight in terms of the mindset that you provide your young men, particularly with quarterback.
Okay, thanks for that, Doc. Darryl Duvall, you're on.
Good morning, Coach. Darryl Duvall, Power and Youth Sports.
Good morning.
I just want to, this is your first year, and what growth have you seen from your young players as you enter the heart of the conference play season?
Yeah, I've seen our players go through some tough times, some very difficult times. But, for the most part, still keeping a smile on their face, still staying confident. You know, when we was 1-2, knowing that, you know, we gave away a game. You know, when we was 1-4, knowing that, you know, it was hard to break the week before, but we got to keep moving forward. And, you know, when we was 1-5, just knowing we was a better team than what our record showed. You know, so I commend our players for staying confident, believing in each other, continuing to fight to get to this point, to where now going into conference play, they got confidence. And, you know, I just told them, let's just look at it like it was our trial run. That was our preseason. It's over with. And now we can move forward. We know what we can do. We know what we got. And now it's time to lock in and just have fun competing. And, you know, that's what, you know, us as coaches, you know, and myself as a player, that's what we miss. So now we get to live through them. And I just want them to live it out and leave no regrets when it's all said and done.
Well, good luck this weekend, Coach. And they got a coach, they got a leader in you.
So we're ready. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Darryl. Coach, we got 2 more questions. The first one comes from Mia Berry. Mia.
Hey, Coach, how are you today?
Hey, how you doing, Mia?
I'm doing well. Piggybacking off of the last question, you mentioned your team's growth, but for you, first season head coaching, what lessons have you learned as a head coach that first half of the season that you're going to apply to the second half of the season?
Yeah, I've learned a lot. You know, I've learned one, that, you know, this is a sort of an out-of-body experience, man, being able to be excited for a game on a Saturday or Thursday, lead up to it, you know, work hard throughout the week, prepare the players. And that's part of the reason I got into it. I always wanted to be a part of a player's life, football life, and watch them grow. I'm getting a chance to do that each and every day, and watching these young men grow as players, you know, on and off the field. It really means a lot. So, you know, I'm just trying to reiterate to them that, you know, that's part of their football life, and that's what I call it, is them writing their own script, telling their own story. And obviously, you know, my story too, being on the sidelines, you know, learning a lot, trying to be conscious of everything that's happening around me, you know, while being observant to every player that's on the field, trying to take mental notes as the game go on, but at the same time staying involved in the game. And, you know, I know I got other coaches that's responsible for a lot of different things, but you know, sometimes my curse is that I try to see everything. The gift is, you know, I can see everything. And I think it helps me with decision making. It helps me to continue to, you know, be super locked into the game and what's happening. And I just hope I can continue to learn, you know, each and every day, and never get to a point where I feel like I got it or I know it all. Just always be an open book in this space.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Mia. And our final question comes from Kendall Lanier. Good morning to you, Kendall.
Good morning. Hey, Coach. Kendall Lanier, ESPN Plus. Coming out of this bye week, what players would you say maybe from offense and defense have really risen up and are excited to see make an impact coming into this conference play?
Yeah, I would say, you know, starting with our quarterback, Otto Coombs. I feel like he's you know, he's ready to go. Like I say, he knows this is the most important 5 games of his life. Drayshawn Kendrick, you know, entering into, you know, his final season. I know he's super turned up and you know, ready to go out there. Cam Thomas. These guys just want to finish strong. You know, Kayvon King. You know, we got some exceptional players, some talented players. You know, on the defense side of the ball, Khalil Gilmore, you know, Jaden Smith. You know, these guys want to finish strong, and hopefully we can send them out with a bang. You know, just playing some good, inspired football down the stretch, and you know, maybe this will be a stretch we can look back on and talk about for a long time. But we got to go in with the right mindset.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you, Kendall, and the rest of the media for those questions. Coach, that's it for us this week. I know you got to get back to work and game planning for homecoming. So all the best this week as you host South Carolina State. It's going to be Norfolk State and South Carolina State Saturday, October 25th at Dick Price Stadium. Kickoff will be at 2:00 p.m. You can catch the action on ESPN+. Let's go on down to Orangeburg. Have a visit with the chief of the Bulldogs, Coach Chennis Berry. Good morning to you, Coach Berry.
Good morning, Lynn. How you doing today?
Man, I'm good. You look rested, man. Your Dogs came out of the non-conference portion of the season at 4-3 overall, rested, focused on the MEAC title race. What have you found out about this version of the Bulldogs, and have you had to make any changes to become the team you envision repeating as champs?
You know what, man, I'll tell you what, I love where we are right now. Confident football team. We're a healthy football team. We got a chance to get away from it all. Did a little things last week, man. We got a chance to, do some self-scout, found out what really people, when they watch us on film, what do they see? We got a chance to get 3 good practices in and then gave them some rest, get a chance to get away from it all. And we came back yesterday on Sunday, man. We had outstanding practice yesterday. I'm talking about we put the shells on, got out a little bit, confident football team, and I love where we are right now.
Okay, all right. Well, you heard just now, you heard Coach Vic looking ahead to this week's game against Norfolk State. You heard the chat, and you know about what's at stake. They're a very talented football team. What concerns you about the Spartans in spite of the 1-6 record thus far?
You know what, Lynn, it's funny you say that because we don't look at records, man. We're a 1-0 kind of mindset team, always has been that way. They have a good football team. Like you say, things hadn't went their way per se, but they've been in every game. And they have some good football players. Like I tell our players all the time, it just comes down to separation is in the preparation. And our guys will be prepared. They'll be locked in. But again, I'm looking at a football team that's well coached. They fly around. They have outstanding athletes. And it's about us going to accomplish the mission. And our mission is to go there and try to come back to Orangeburg, South Carolina, 1-0.
Okay, Coach. Hold on just for a second. We got some questions lined up from the media. For the media reps, use the raise hand feature after your question is answered. And make sure you take that hand down. Please limit the questions to just 1 each for Coach Berry. James Hill, you're first.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone in Orangeburg are well this morning. How's it going?
How you doing, Mr. Hill? All is well here.
I'm blessed. The MEAC, we know that the season starts, for league play on the back half of this season. And this is your second time around because last year you went through it. But just talk a little bit about going through that this time again and what you expect and what you look forward to as we get into those league games, as everyone wants to get to Atlanta.
Well, new team, new season, man. I'll tell you what, did some good things a year ago. But again, it's a new season for us. It's a new team. And our team understands the task at hand. We really respect our league, man. We got some really good football coaches in this league, really good players in this league. The reality is a lot of us recruit a lot of the same players, to be honest, at the end of the day. And, it's about each one of us getting our teams ready to go. So we understand it's a 1-0 mindset. Every game matters. It's been that way for us. That's not new for us. That's kind of the culture of our program is just talking about going 1-0. So we understand what's at stake. The young men, if you could have saw us practice yesterday, just the attitude, the energy, I think energy and attitude is infectious. And it can be infectious sometimes in a bad way, but for here it's in a good way because we're in a good spot, man. I'll tell you what, our young men are locked in. They understand what's at stake, and it's about going 1-0 each and every week.
Good luck this week, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, James. Thank you, James. Doc Holliday.
Coach Berry, Doc Holliday, HBC Overdrive. Second time seeing her since she was at the East-West Shrine game in Dallas here. Going into this game against Norfolk State, what do you want to try to get as far as your defense goes to try to stay with a quick strike attacking scheme against this Spartan offense?
Tell you what, our defense is playing some really good ball right now. Playing very confident. Starts with the big boys up front. I truly believe, I really believe this, and it may come from my background as an O-line guy. Man, if you can't block us, it's hard to beat us. And if we can block you, it's a better chance for we to be able to beat you. So at the end of the day, it comes to the big guys up front. Our D-line is playing at a high level. We're playing about 8 to 10 guys up front, so we're keeping them fresh. We have some guys that are really difference makers up front. I mean, Josh Barker, number 0, man, you really got the game plan for him to block him, to be honest, man, because he's one of those guys that can wreck a whole game plan. So it starts with our big guys up front. I tell you right now, our defense, our D-line is playing good, but our linebackers are playing really exceptional right now. Our linebacker, if you looked at us last week, we have a young man that made National Defensive Player of the Week, man. He did an outstanding job of doing some good things on our defense. And our secondary is playing really well right now as well. So at the end of the day, it's about winning first down. You know, do a good job of winning early downs. If you can win early downs, you put teams in third and long situations. Now, if you put them in third and long, now your D-line can go hunt.
Okay, thanks for that. Let's go now to Dr. Kenyatta Cavill, Coach.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. How you doing this morning, Coach Berry?
Hey, good morning, Doc. How you doing today?
I'm good. It's time to get down.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's go time.
I know you know how to work go time. Exactly how you say it there. Talk a little bit about, in terms of Norfolk State, what do you see schematically, obviously without giving the game film in terms of that, but what do you want to see uniquely your defense?